Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I got a bench press session in for you guys. And considering I deadlifted yesterday, I realized this would be a little tougher than usual, but that's okay. I decided over a week ago I was going to go ahead and come in and I'm going to switch from the closed grip bench press to more of a normal grip bench press. My normal grip, my competitive grip. This is obviously not anywhere near as wide as what a lot of people bench press. I, however, believe in staying, for the most part, inside of the rings. And here we go. I have Brittany kind of checking the camera to look and see if I was 90 degrees from the ground to actually put the bar directly over my elbows when I'm at the bottom. As most of you know, that's what gives the best leverage on the bench press. Now, I'm going to be honest, I felt a little weaker doing this in my closed grip because I'm not used to the bar path. I spent a couple months rebuilding closed grip bench press after doing zero chest pressing, right? So that is kind of the strength I've learned. And that's the thing, even when you switch, and people need to understand this, even when you switch to a variation of a lift that in theory should let you lift slightly more weight, if you have been training the motor pattern for the other variation, your strength will go down initially. Very frequently, unless it's an enormous difference, and in this case all I'm doing is slightly reducing the range of motion. I have very long arms. I still have an extreme range of motion when I'm not arching, and I do a medium whip grip like this to where I'm 90 degrees when it's low on my chest, which is where I am now. It gives you slightly better leverages. It's a little easier on your wrists and forearms, but ultimately overall strength and development are about the same, other than you can usually lift a little more weight. Now, I obviously am not quite at that point. So I came in, did a couple warm-ups. I'm not counting the 225 as a work set for 5. I went to 245. And I think that's apt because what I've done right now, I'm borderline advanced lifter again on the bench press. Borderline. I don't know that it's fair to even call me full advanced yet, right? I'm almost elite, or pretty much my deadlift would pretty much be elite for my body weight on the charts. All right, I'm coming back, relearning to squat and bench again after taking a long time away from both. I have an overhead press on the charts is about advanced now. Bench is a little under, squat is under. I'll get them all back. So it's what I'm essentially doing with some of this is I'm going to be teaching people training programs that work very well for an intermediate lifter, because that's where I'm at on 2 of my big lifts again. I've regressed. I haven't trained them in a couple years, right? After having a lot of detraining at a certain point when I didn't get to lift and didn't eat right and was stressed in the middle of an international move and all that, I never fully rebuilt those lifts. So I need to go ahead and rebuild them. And you know what? It lets me do some valuable stuff for teaching my audience. So I'm going to come back and rebuild them. And so today, because I'm changing the grip, I'm changing what I'm doing, it is basically a different exercise. It's doing regular pause bench now. I felt that I would go ahead and do 5s. So I went ahead and did a 5x5 with a weight that is, again, only 20 pounds heavier than what I tell most guys they need to be at to finish my novice program. Now, arguably, I'm actually having them go well into novice, past novice into intermediate, but I thought, you know, that would be a good point for me. Just start with a weight that I'm comfortable with. I knew I could get 5x5 with, and do some 5s with, you know, 20 pounds more than I tell guys they need to do. So I'm doing like 245. And I do a 5x5 pause just to get a little bit of training volume in, just to relearn the technique. But what we have to consider here is that I pushed too aggressive on my bench coming in and I completely stalled. I got to where I was doing triples with my 275 on the closed grip, and I got stuck with that. I couldn't do more than 7 or 8 work sets of 3. Before I was just completely tanked and couldn't get to my 10 sets. So now I'm going to come back and re-ramp up. I'm going to go ahead and use a regular bench press for me, which I know is better leverages. Come in. I'm going to do a 10-pound jump probably next week, because I just did this to establish some technique again. And I'm going to go ahead and do my lift mastery on it the way that I'm telling people they need to do it. Now that my strength is more or less reestablish where it's probably going to be for just a short bit, now's a good time to go ahead and ingrain the lift, master the lift. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to jump to 265 and go to 3s and work my way up to 10 triples. When I get to 10 triples with it, instead of doing a 10-pound jump, what are we going to do? 5 pounds. If I do a 5-pound jump, and again, I get my technique in, I'm using much more effective levers right now, because again, notice I'm 90 degrees at the bottom. Bar is over my elbows. This is where we want it. Now I'm coming in able to pause everything good. Nice strong pause on every rep. Add 5 pounds when I get to 10 sets. 5 pounds. And do it 5 pounds at a time, adding 1 or 2 sets at a time until we can get to the 10, then adding 5 pounds. Now, this is a nice slow way to progress, but it's something I want to stress and that some coaches out there have pointed out. It is possible, if you pay close attention to your body and you get on a proper system, it is possible to make linear progress for intermediate and even advanced lifters. It can be done if you accept that you will need to undulate volume a little bit. You will need to pay very close attention to your body. You will need to work volume back and forth like I'm doing, which is again slowly increasing volume before you increase intensity. But that's still linear, isn't it? That's still linear. You just have to go very, very slow. You have to master every weight that you use. You have to master the technique with that weight before you do every minor 5-pound jump. And if you do that, you can progress linearly. It will require accessory work at times, and that's exactly what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm teaching. That's what I'm showing you guys is going to be possible. And yeah, guys will be like, well, guys can blast a lot of drugs and push right through. That's true. I'm not going to do that. I don't think that's going to work right for me. I'm in my 40s now. I'm not willing to do that. I don't want to be the next Rich Piana. All right. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to be dead at 46. So not an option for me. So I'm going to do it the hard way. The slow way, the hard way, inch by inch, 1 rep at a time, 5 pounds at a time, and build my bench back up. I'm about to build my squat back up too. I will try to film my back squatting for you guys later this week, my first real session, after more or less doing kind of what I did here with the bench again. Came in, back squatted, and just established a baseline for the technique, and now I'll start ramping it up. So I'm going to do the same thing on that, but we're going to have to do it the hard way, inch by inch. And when I stall, that's where all this accessory stuff comes in. Now I can honestly say my triceps are strong enough to easily handle this. Because I'm doing all this tricep work, my triceps are not getting fatigued on any of this pressing. And that's a good thing. Now some people say, well, does that mean they're not your weak link? You could go work something else? Not necessarily, because I need everything else to go ahead and get strong on the lifts. I'm just going to keep my triceps stronger because I know looking in the mirror, they are smaller than my pecs. They are the weak link, potential weak link in the chain. So by doing all this tricep work, I'm going to make sure that they don't become a fatiguing factor. Because if you feel your triceps a whole lot on some of these presses, even though they are worked heavily, if you're feeling your triceps more, they're definitely a weak link. So by me doing all this tricep work, I'm making sure that I'm keeping them from limiting me. So pretty much my chest is going to limit my bench press. My delts are going to limit my overhead press. And I'd rather keep it that way than have something like triceps become a limiting factor. Plus, I run a YouTube channel. People care about appearance. I need to look better. Triceps are aesthetic. That's reality of it. And I have to live with that and accept that. So I'm going to keep working on them. And what I was talking about the other day, remember? Just kind of keeping isolation movements constant. They're there to add fatigue. I do 3 sets of 8 with this exact weight every workout now. And I will until it feels really, really easy. Until I do 3 sets of 8 with this weight and it feels like a warm-up, I'm going to stick there because it's there just to add extra fatigue on my bench press and my strict press workouts. And yes, I'm still revamping the form on my strict press. The video I did last week was actually a very valuable learning tool for me. Get more efficient at the way I do, and I am going to be changing it up. So there we have it, guys. Doing those tricep extensions after the bench. And yeah, this 3 sets of 8, even though it looks relatively easy, my triceps were on fire after this. They were absolutely throbbing. It was a good workout. It was an effective workout, just enough to prime a little bit of adaptation, relearn the bench press, maybe stimulate a small amount of growth recomposition. I'm not bulking right now, so growth is going to be difficult to achieve, but I'll take every bit I can get, and I'll come back next week, and we'll go back to triples, and we will go back to slow, linear progression using what I like to term now my lift mastery protocol. I think it's a good term for it. So you guys enjoy the rest of these tricep extensions. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.